Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got another Yu-Gi-Oh video for you guys, and this one has a special place in my heart. If you guys were here last week when I did my Blue Eyes video, I said I was going to do this deck this week. And anybody that's been on the channel for a while, you guys know Cyber Dragon is my bread and butter. This is the deck I play IRL, and I've been tweaking it a lot because I wanted to try a bunch of new things. I now have a build that is not only pretty original, but it's fun as hell. This is the build we're going to be playing today, guys. And you can already tell just by looking at the picture that some of the stuff is pretty weird. I've got some gameplay for you guys. It's quick, 10 minutes. And then I will go through the deck at the end and talk to you guys about some of the tech choices while we still have time on the video. So without further ado, if you guys enjoy the video, drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Let's jump in and check out the gameplay. So, we won the rock, paper, scissors. We decided to go second. This game isn't ranked, so this person does end up doing some pretty crazy shit. You won't see it right now, but there's a Dark Magician deck that does play Fusion Destiny. So he starts off with DPE and 2 set. If you guys can see that first card on the left in my hand, that is the first spice of the deck. That's Ultra Polymerization for anybody that doesn't recognize the card. We'll get into that in a little bit. So I start off with Galaxy Soldier Hertz. My plan here was to try and get both Galaxy Soldiers on the board, go into Nova, bring back the Hertz if I can, and then use Machine Dupe on it. As soon as I activate Galaxy Soldier and Hertz, he decides to pop it with DPE. That's fine. That's pretty much what we expected. Now we got the Galaxy Soldier, and we have a Repair Plant that is live because we have Hertz in the grave. He activates DPE's graveyard effect to bring back Destiny Hero on his following turn. But our goal is to make sure there is no following turn. So we use the Repair Plant, grab Core, use Core. I went for Rev System to have an additional extender. I kind of hesitated here because I wasn't sure what I wanted to grab. But I went with Rev System to be able to keep on going should we end up getting hit with a hand trap. Now we get to go off because he didn't stop the Machine Dupe. So, real quick, for anybody that doesn't know Ultra Polymerization, there's the effect on the left. I will read it to you. You pay 2,000 life points, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, using 2 monsters you control as a fusion material. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 fusion monster that was fusion summoned with this card's effect, Special summon all fusion materials used for its fusion summon from your graveyard, but their attack and defense become 0, and their effects are negated. This card is one of the craziest extenders I've ever played with, and I effing love it. Check out what we do here. The only downside is you can only fuse 2 monsters, and they have to be on the board. But we're going to fuse the 2 Cyber Dragons into a Rampage. We're going to pop his back row because we use 2 materials. And just in case he ends up trying to get crazy, we use Ultra Polymerization on the Rampage. Now we get to bring back both Cyber Dragons that we used. Sure, their powers are reduced to 0, their effects are negated, but we're not locked into any kind of summons. That's why I like Ultra Polymerization. So we go right into Nova and just do all our Nova things. Mind you, we still have 4 cards in hand. We don't touch the cards in our hand for the rest of the game. Infinity. Seeger. This was a combo made off 3 cards. Also, we send Starter Synchron. If for some reason he had survived this turn, we could have attributed the Seeger for Starter Synchron and gone into Shen Shen. So he would have had to deal with Infinity and Shen Shen. But nope, we just ended up swinging for game. Now, we didn't get to see much of what our opponent was doing because we blew him out in 1 turn, thanks to Ultra Poly. So we decided to swap in our going first package. He knows we're playing Cyber Dragons. I assumed he would want us to go first. He didn't. So, Nexus is a little weird here. So we started swapping. We swap in the Dragoon package. We take out Chimeric Fortress. We take out Jizukiru. Because, again, Jizukiru is a going second card. You want to be able to attribute to one of your opponent's monsters. We take out Lightning Storm because we want to set it before that. I also decided to take out my forbidden chalice. We'll talk about forbidden chalice when we get to the deck at the end. And we take on Ash Blossom just because we still have 5 other hand traps. Now, this would have been an okay hand if we had gone first. We could have gone to Shen Shen. But we actually could have gone to Infinity and Shen Shen. But, unbeknownst to me, my opponent chose to go first. And he starts off with Dragoon and 2 face downs. Now, we try to break this board, but we just sided out all of our going second cards. So, it ends up being a downhill battle for us. But I will show you. Maybe you guys could tell me something I could have done better. I also didn't realize he just searched a Dark Magician. That Dark Magician he just searched ends up screwing me later. See, this would... Man. So we start off with Galaxy Soldier. Also, if you see the misplay that he made, knowing that he's playing against Cyber Dragons, he put Dragoon in an extra monster zone, which was a bad idea. So he uses Eternal Soul, brings back Dark Magician, which triggers Dark Magic Circle, which means he's going to banish our monster right away. Kind of sucks, but it's okay. So we get our Cyber Dragon Search off for Hertz. We got the other Galaxy Soldier. We special summon Cyber Dragon, and we contact Fuse into Dragoon, eliminating that interruption. Now we Now we send Synchron to the grave for Galaxy Soldier. I decided to use Starter Synchron, tributing Mega Fleet to get it out, and we Synchro into Shen Shen. The way I was thinking about it is if I banish the Dark Magician, he won't be able to bring it back with Eternal Soul, which would be cool. But he had another Dark Magician in hand. I probably should have went into Anaconda. If I'd gone to Anaconda, I could have went into Rampage to pop the Eternal Soul, and that might have made the game a little bit different, but that was my mistake. So now he uses Eternal Soul to summon the Dark Magician out of his hand, and then he uses Dark Magic Circle to banish my Shen Shen. I activate Summit Limit just because I don't want to get blown out, but it ends up being for naught. Let me know what you guys think I could have done better here. Probably going into Rampage would have probably been the better play. Wait, can I even go on a Rampage? Yeah, I could have. I had Hertz and Cyber Dragon in the grave. Bye, Shen Shen. Shen Shen's a dope-ass card, too, because it can bring itself back from the grave. Yep, and now he's got 43 on board. Summons, sends his third Dark Magician to the graveyard, so he's set up to use it again. So that was actually pretty good. At this point, I'm just like, yeah, I see what I can draw. I draw into Impermanence, and Impermanence is not going to help. So I was set Impermanence. I was going to let him just play it out. But after ending, I was just like, yeah, you know what? Let's just double check my graveyard. I got no plays. I drew the one brick, one of the only bricks in the deck, and I'm just like, you know what? Let's just go to game 3. Yep, and there's the other Dark Magician, Dark Magic Circle again. Then he hit the Starlight Road. I was sad. And we just surrender. Now, game 3, we don't change any of our sides. We actually decided to go first. Our going first practice is already there. I kind of wanted to show it off for the video. So I'm like, you know what? Let's see what we get. And we open up bananas. Banana sandwich. Peep game. Core is going to grab Cyberload Fusion because we already have Cybernetic Overflow in hand. So for basic Cyber Dragon plays, besides obviously the going first what we're going for, the best thing you can do with Cyber Dragons going first is an Overflow and a Cyberload Fusion. Overflow, you can pop cards, banish your Cyber Dragons, and then the Cyberload, you can fuse them back to pop 2 more with a Rampage. So it's the ideal play going first. Especially if you can get multiple Cyber Dragons on the board. In this case, he didn't stop the core. He didn't stop the machine dupe. So we just go in. You know, classic plays. I meant to hit Special Summon. I accidentally hit View Extra Deck. So give me a second. We go to Special Summon. Link away core for Almirage. Overlay into Nova. Nova brings back Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon Nova turns into Infinity. We have our first Omni Negate. Now we link off into Verte Anaconda. Drop a Dragoon. Now we have 2 Omni Negates. Obviously, for anybody who's not a Cyber Dragon Pro, you always want to make sure that you absorb Verte with Infinity, because if somebody's playing Mega Fleet, they can Mega Fleet you with your own monsters. And then we set Overflow and Cyberload Fusion. Now look how crazy this setup is. Look how crazy this setup is. We have 2 Omni Negates. We have a hand trap off of the Ash Blossom. We have currently Cybernetic Overflow can pop 2 cards, but if we end up discarding the Hurts, not only will we get a search, but that'll make it so Overflow can pop 3 cards. And we have Cyberload Fusion to be able to end phase, try to bring out a Rampage and pop 2 more cards, or 3 depending on how many monsters we fuse. So I was feeling pretty confident going into my opponent's turn. Activates Dark Magic Circle. I negate it with Ash Blossom. I don't waste any of my Omni Negates yet, but I do stop him from getting a search. I maybe could have used Dragoon to pop it. Increase Dragoon's attack points, making so he doesn't have the Dark Magic Circle on the board, but I knew I was going to pop it at the end of his turn anyway. He sets 2, and I believe it. If you actually look in the corner, I changed my chaining to manual, because sometimes it'll skip through phases really fast. I wanted to make sure it gave me the chance to chain on his end phase. So end phase, we activate Overflow. We banish Core and Cyber Dragon from our graveyard. Pop his 2 face downs. He just set them, so he can't activate them. Then we activate Cyberload Fusion, sending back the 2 monsters we just banished to bring out a Rampage. Just to pop his Dark Magic Circle. Now look at the board. Look at the board. Like, oh my god, seeing Cyber Dragon do stuff like this just makes me happy. So start off with Rampage. We send a Hurts and a Core to the graveyard. We add back the Core. So now Rampage has 2 extra attacks. We just go to battle phase to start swinging. We're gonna do a board setup after, but our opponent actually gets mad at us. If you actually see in the corner, he starts going crazy, and he just ends up quitting. And that's where that game ends. With what we had left in our hand, we had a Core, Starter Synchron, and Hurts. I would have normal summoned the Core, got a search, tributed the Core for Starter Synchron, got my Starlight Road, and then linked the Rampage and the Starter Synchron into Shenzhen. And that would have been how I ended the turn if my opponent had survived. Now, let's go through and look at the deck real quick, and I will tell you guys some of the reason I picked some of the deck choices. Okay, so here's again for the deck for anybody that didn't see at the beginning. Again, this is after a few weeks of working on it. I looked up a bunch of different decks, saw some things, and I got inspired. So, real quick, Jizukiro, always a searchable kaiju, fantastic for contact fusion. We kept our Cyber Dragon package as small as possible, even though this is a combo Cyber Dragon deck. This is a, machine dupe variant. But 3 Core, 3 Hurts, 3 OGs, 1 Naxter. That's our Cyber Dragon package. You could maybe count the 2 Galaxy Soldiers because he is an honorary Cyber Dragon. But let's get to the spice. Starter Synchron. This is the first card you guys saw that was a little crazy. It's a level 4 light machine type tuner, searchable by Cyber Repair Plant. Can special summon itself from your hand or from your graveyard by tributing a monster. Searches a spell or trap that designates Stardust Dragon, hence the Starlight Road. And because it's a level 4, with all the level 5s that we can summon, really easy to make Shenzhen. Shenzhen is a fantastic card. Everybody that doesn't know what Shenzhen does, Virtual QB Shenzhen, 1 tuner, 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. You can only use each of the following effects of Virtual QB Shenzhen once per turn. When your monster declares an attack, you can return one banished monster to the owner's graveyard, which is cool because if you summon Starter Synchron by its effect, it gets banished. So then you can swing and just put it back into the graveyard to use it again later. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish 2 other monsters from your graveyard with a different original type and attribute from each other, special summon this card. We may play a lot of light machines, but we also play Fire Zombie. We also have a bunch of cards in our extra deck that are, different types, so we can bring him back really, really easily. We also play Stardust Dragon because we play Starlight Road, but remember that the deck special summons a lot of level 5s. Many people forget that Ash Blossom is a tuner. She's a level 3 tuner. Combine that with a level 5 Galaxy Soldier, level 5 Cyber Dragon, and we have a Stardust Dragon. Moving on, we play 2 Lightning Storm in the variant because it is a going second variant, and Lightning Storm's expensive. I have one. I'm working on getting one more, which is also the same reason I'm playing Forbidden Chalice and not Forbidden Droplet. Droplet is way out of my price range, especially needing 3. Chalice is a good backup. It's quick play, negates monster effects. You also don't have to discard for it, which I hate discarding cards. So it's a good budget option. We're playing the one Call by the Grave just because it's nice to be able to call by the Grave hand trap sometimes. But because it's a 1-of, I might take it out for a second Cyber Repair Plant. I haven't decided yet. So far, it's doing good for me. The Spice Ultra Polymerization. Like I said in the video, the biggest downside of this card is that you cannot search it. But you guys saw an example of the kind of explosive moves you can make with this. I had 2 examples I want to talk to you guys about. One was I was way behind. My opponent didn't have a back row. They had one monster on board. All I had in my hand was Ultra Polymerization. I drew into Naxter, played Naxter, brought back a Cyber Dragon, was able to Ultra Poly them into Rampage, did Rampage's effect, then used Ultra Poly to bring them back, made a Seeker Swarm for game. It was freaking cool. Also, the way its second effect works to bring back the fusion materials, you don't have to have control of the fusion monster. I played against Skystrikers where they took control of my fusion monster as soon as I brought it out. I was able to still use Ultra Polymerization, target the fusion monster that they control, brought back the materials, and was able to continue my plays. It's a fantastic extender. I just wish we had a way to search it. It doesn't play well with Anaconda because its graveyard effect doesn't exist. But you get this card in your hand, and you almost are guaranteed to win. It's a fantastic OTK card, and you need very, very minimal resources to actually use it. We still play one Cybernetic Overflow because non-target destruction is good, and Cyberload Fusion because it's that and Overload Fusion are OTK makers. Now, onto the extra deck. Obviously, Mega Fleet, Fortress, Mega Fleet because Link monsters are a thing, Fortress because we play Jizakira. That's why when you guys saw me side out Jizakira, I shouted out Fortress to put in Dragoon because we were trying to go first. Cyber Twin Dragon's in there because it is the best target for Cyberload Fusion just to be able to get another 2 attacks. I play 2 Rampage Dragons because being able to pop the back row, send cards to the graveyard, set up, it goes really, really well with Starter Synchron and a bunch of other cards. It's just the best fusion to run it to. You guys saw my synchros, everything else is basic. I do want to talk about Clifford Genius because that's a card I slept on. Honestly, it's a machine link monster that I totally forgot about. It's made with any two machine monsters. As long as it was link summoned, it's unaffected by spell and trap effects, and the activated effects of all other link monsters. Once per turn, you can target one face-up card on each player's field, and both of those targets are negated until the end of the turn. This card lets you get around Skill Drain, it lets you get around Imperial Order, Summon Limit. Like, I forgot about this card until I saw somebody's video and they're like, yeah, you can do this with this. And then when 2 monsters are special summoned at the same time, the zones this card points to, you can add a level 5 or higher machine monster from your deck to your hand. Let's say you use Machine Dupe while you have this on the board, get 2 Cyber Dragons, cool, now you can search a Galaxy Soldier. Just an all-around good card. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the side deck. So, real quick, obviously we have our usual side deck suspects, Nibiru for combo decks, Artifact Lancia for any deck that likes to banish a lot, Eldritch, Tri-Brigade, Flunderies. The Artifact Lancia is just too good of a card in this format right now. As for, also we have Red Reboot for trap decks, a deck that plays a lot of heavy traps. Altergeist, for example. That's actually a deck that's played at our locals. Everything else is the going first package. Dragoon is entire package, plus another overflow, summon limits, and Imperial Order. Once we already have our established board, negating spell cards doesn't hurt us as much. Summon limit is summon limit. The reason we play a second overflow is because of what you guys saw in game 2, where we were able to set overflow and Cyberlord Fusion. It's just the best way, the best opening you can do with a Cyber Dragon deck, even if you don't have Infinity and Dragoon. That plus Infinity Dragoon was just stupid. Anyway, guys, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. If you guys saw any moves you thought I could have done better, let me know in the comments. If you guys have any questions about the text, again, let me know in the comments. If you guys have other texts that you think I should try out, I'm always trying to improve on my Cyber Dragon deck. It's my baby. It's what I play in real life. It's what I take to tournaments. And I always want to keep on, improving the deck. A little nervous about the ban list because I don't want to see Anaconda get hit. I know a lot of people do. But let me know your thoughts. If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. But that's it for me. I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning.